morning, everybody. For today, got a lot of good stuff today. Seems like the last couple weeks, but we're gonna write the DBQ that you guys have been working on. So you created that document sheet, the source sheet, and you are gonna do the DBQ. You're gonna write that out. Here are kind of my instructions, kind of what I'd like you to do. I would like you to put yourself on the clock again, like 30 minutes, 35 minutes. And here's how I'm coming up with that. Like, you can kind of determine how much time you want to give yourself. Now, you get 45 minutes to write the DBQ, but that includes, like, reading through the docs, planning what you're going to write. So I figure if I'm going to do that, I'm going to take 15 minutes to plan and read, and then 30 minutes to write. So if you think you can read through those, and there's going to be 5 docs too, remember, instead of 7, there's going to be 5. So you kind of think, how long do you think you need to actually read the docs and plan? If you think you only need 10 minutes, then give yourself 35 minutes to write. That's up to you. Okay. Here's the thing, and I know a couple people asked me this question, and I think they wrote like this: do not stop writing once the time goes off. I would like you to actually, like, hey, what would I say if I had all the time in the world? Write it out like you had 3 hours to write it. You don't need to take 3 hours, but if you're going to go past 30 minutes, you're like, I'm not done yet. Well, then keep going. Like, do it well. That's kind of my point. So don't just stop and say, well, that's 30 minutes, I'm done. Like, and you only have 2 paragraphs down or something. Keep going. The reason I have you go on the clock is I want you to get used to that internal, like, I got to keep moving, I got to keep pushing. Some of the things, and I don't know if everybody saw the video that I put out there, but I actually wrote the 2018 DBQ that we did last week. This weekend I kind of sat down and I wrote it, and I put myself on the clock for 30 minutes, and I went ahead and I wrote. Now, I made a video of it. I didn't make a video of me actually writing because I can only go 15 minutes long on the videos, and I really don't think you want to sit there and watch me type for 30 minutes. But what I did is, after I wrote it, I kind of cut and pasted and said, this is what I did in this paragraph, and I gave you some hints and advice. In this week's folder, there is a copy of that DBQ. Like, I actually put what I wrote in there, and I put a copy of the video of me kind of explaining it. Now, what I put on there is what I wrote in 30 minutes. It's all the warts. It's all the... I didn't go back and I didn't fix it up. That's what I wrote. And as I went through and explained it, I kind of pointed that out, like, hey, I wish I could have put more here. Truth be told, reading it, I would have liked to have put a couple more sentences to explain it more. And I'm really glad I did that. I'm really glad I wrote it, because I think I empathize a little more with you guys. I've actually never wrote it myself. I've haven't never timed myself. It's a little more challenging than I originally thought. So I'm glad I actually did it, so now I kind of feel what you're feeling. A couple things that I noticed myself doing to take up time. I went back, and I'm really big on typos. Like, I make a ton of typos. My chubby fingers go a lot slower than my brain does. So I made a lot of typos, and I went back and I fixed them. And I found I was wasting a lot of time. It doesn't matter. When the person reads it, if you're saying from and you write form, they're going to figure it out. Like, you don't have to go back and fix all of those. If you have time at the end and you want to go back and fix them, I get it. And I know all the red squigglies, they get on my nerves after a while. But in all honesty, like, it's okay if you have a couple spelling errors, and, you know, that's all right. It's really important to get the words on the page. The other thing is, when I read some of yours, you're really good writers. And I've noticed, like, you really like some of the setup is really good, and I'm like, wow, that's poetic. You don't need to be poetic. Like, I consider myself a good writer, and I went back and read what I put down there, and it got the job done. It wasn't going to be published by any means, but it showed the reader that I knew what I was talking about. So I'm giving you, I guess, permission to, you don't have to hook me, like, oh, interest me in this. Like, I want you to get the info out there more than anything. So you don't have to, like, sit there and, like, what's a good opening sentence? Like, just start writing. Just keep going. So those are a couple tips that I kind of have for you. So if you want to watch that video, I think it's pretty helpful for sure. This is the last practice DBQ we're going to do. I probably could round some up if you wanted to work on them on your own, if that's an option for anybody, but I think that's the last we're going to do. And then next week we're probably just gonna review like a lot of probably gonna review just a lot of the content, like watch videos, and I might have a couple quizzes for you, just some things like that you can look up or that you can kind of question yourself for sure. And then May 15th is the AP test, so that is what is that, like a week from Friday? So so we're getting there for sure. I've also put a couple of videos on the Mr. Dennis review video folder. I know Kylie asked for some videos on World War I and World War II. There's a lot to say about World War I. I actually had to make 2 videos, so I've got 2 videos on World War I up there, and I'm working on the World War II stuff as we speak. So if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to ask. Email me. That's great. I have office hours Monday through Thursday. You can stop in the Zoom. And if you can't make those office hours, I don't have anything on Friday or Saturday or Sunday, just get in touch with me. I have no place to go. So absolutely, we can set something up. I'm not going to hold you for like an hour and a half, like analyzing your paper, to say like, hey, can we Zoom on Saturday at 2:30? And I'll set it up, and I'll read your stuff beforehand. I'll have some comments for you, and you can kind of get out of there. So that might be a nice way to kind of, if you have any questions, if you want any pointers, that's a good way to do it, I think. So feel free to hit me up on that, and don't think you're inconveniencing by any stretch. I want to make myself as accessible as possible in the next week and a half. So please do not, and I repeat, do not hesitate to say like, I want something, make this video. I want a conference with you, like, even though it's not office hours, we'll figure it out. Like, we'll make it happen. So don't hesitate. All right, if you need anything, let me know. Otherwise, good luck with the DBQ. You guys did a much better job week 2 than you did week 1. A lot of you are really figuring it out. You're on the right track. And if you're not, just keep on pushing yourself. We're going to get there. So nice job. So I will talk to you soon.